Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is the second lecture related to Benazir Bhutto. Previously, we discussed about the successes of Benazir Bhutto during 1988 to 1990 as Prime Minister of Pakistan. It was the start of democracy. In the same era, as she faced some problems also. So we are going to discuss those problems, and some of these problems became so severe that later on, these were the cause of end of Benazir's government. We are going to discuss about these problems, and we will see that these challenges which she was facing were not only some social problems or some official problems, but these were in reference to political problems and her family issues also. Along with that, she had less number of seats in the lawmaking council. Less number of seats means that she had more than 50% seats in the lawmaking council. That is why she was the prime minister. But the problem was, for the making of laws and for alteration in any kind of law and for the end of any previous wrong law or pressurizing law, there was the need of 75% seats in the lawmaking council, which she did not have. Even her 50% seats were not complete, and she had to have alliance with MQM. Now let's see the details. She had to have alliance with MQM, Mohajir Qawmi Movement, and MQM was very strong in the province of Sindh. And in this manner, she had to have an alliance with them to establish her 50% seats, which could make her the prime minister of the country. So in this manner, it was always a threat for her that if MQM was going to leave alliance with Benazir Bhutto, her government could be ended and she could face the vote of no confidence from the National Assembly and from lawmaking council. So in this manner, she had to accept whatever MQM workers were and MQM leaders were demanding her. And in this manner, many rights were given to her. MQM was basically a Sindh-based party, and they were very educated and smart people. They knew how to get rights from the government, and they wanted that more rights must be given to Mahajirs, while Benazir Bhutto's main vote bank was in Sindh. And she wanted to work for rural Sindh, for poor people in the society and women in the society, while MQM workers were constantly demanding that they must be given more rights. So increasingly, this support was her support of Benazir Bhutto was going towards MQM, which was annoying her Sindhi voters. And Sindhi voters felt that she just wanted to prolong her government. That is why she was compromising for any right or wrong demands of MQM. But it was her technical problem that if she was going to break that alliance with them, and she was not going to listen their demands and fulfill their demands, they could leave her and her government could be ended. So it was the beginning of democracy. She did not want to shatter it in this manner because of her own liking and disliking. That is why she had to go through those all problems and those all undue demands, even which were made by MQM leaders time to time, even if her Sindhi voters were to some extent annoyed with her. So it was her problem. It was a challenge for her. It was a constant tension and tussle for her. And she had to focus on her work as Prime Minister of the country. And along with that, she had to please her alliance members also. So it was constantly a challenge, constantly a problem for her. Sindh was basically, PPP was the area which was not only having love for Benazir, but they were having a passion for Zulfikar Ali Bhutto also. And Zulfikar Ali Bhutto had given his life for the public. He was hanged, and he worked for the rights of common man. So in this manner, Pakistan People's Party was looked as a party which was going to work till its last breath for the rights of common man. So, but Sindhis were noticing this thing, that Benazir was blackmailed and Benazir was pressurized by MQM, and she had to focus more for the development of those areas in Karachi which were under MQM. Even if there was a problem of law and order, for example, a lot of killing was there which was blamed to MQM workers, and she could not do anything for that. So in this manner, people in Sindh and people in Karachi were all slowly and gradually turning against her. And they felt this, they did not see this thing that she wanted to continue her government. They looked at this problem in a manner that she had a loose control and she had not that much ability to manage these problems properly. Then another problem was that her government was damaged when no confidence motion was tabled by Islami Jamhuri Ittehad. Islami Jamhuri Ittehad was stronger in all parts of the country, and especially in Punjab and NWFP. And in this manner, this Islami Jamhuri Ittehad had less seats, though it had less seats, but it was an influential party, being Pakistan a religious country. Pakistan established in the name of Islam, and people listening Islami ulamas and Islami political parties seriously. And in this one, Nawaz Sharif joined with them, and this party started constant propagation against Benazir Bhutto that if it was the government of a woman, it was a curse for the country. It was not good for the country. It was not according to Islam. And when ulamas were saying this thing, then many people were thinking that it was right and Benazir must be removed on the basis that she was a lady prime minister. Nawaz Sharif was very active in Punjab, and he was the chief minister of Punjab also. He had complete control over Punjab. In Punjab, he had majority seats in Punjab. Is the province of Pakistan which is very strong, influential, and financially more stable than other provinces. And in this manner, and mostly as he himself was an industrialist, mostly rich and trader group was his alliance was in participation with Nawaz Sharif, and they wanted him because these were important for their businesses. If such person was there who was from their community, then their businesses could be better. So in this manner, Nawaz Sharif, for economic reasons of trader group and businessmen, and along with that, when he used Islami Jamhuri Ittehad, then he became more stronger. Islami Jamhuri Ittehad was favoring Nawaz Sharif because of another reason also. Because Islami Jamhuri Ittehad had a very strong alliance with Ziaul Haq. And Ziaul Haq was the person who basically created Nawaz Sharif in Punjab. As Ziaul Haq wanted that there must be some opposition of Pakistan People's Party in Punjab, and previously Pakistan People's Party was a popular party in the whole country. And during the 11 years of Ziaul Haq's time, he worked so hard to establish an opposition political party under Nawaz Sharif in Punjab. And that was a successful step of Ziaul Haq, though he was not alive at that time. He basically cultivated this kind of political scenario to get support for himself, but he himself died. So later on, Nawaz Sharif and Islami Jamhuri Ittehad had an alliance, and they were constantly working against Benazir, which was damaging her impression, which was constantly giving her threat of tabling no confidence motion against her. If what is no confidence motion? If no confidence motion is successful and vote is given more than 50% against the prime minister, that those who were the MNAs, National Assembly members, they were not satisfied from the prime minister's working. Prime minister's seat could be ended in a minute and government could be dismissed. So, and prime minister could be dismissed. So in this manner, then there would be another election in the National Assembly for a new prime minister. It was a problem here, and that was a constant threat for Benazir. Now, this kind of problems were there related to Punjab, where Nawaz Sharif was in the government and he had majority seats in the provincial assembly, and Sindh, which was the main hub of Benazir's vote bank. So these two provinces were facing this kind of problems. Now let's see some other challenges also, which were there for Benazir in the federal government, and where she was having her main office and she was working. Along with the prime minister, the very important other post is the post of president. President was Ghulam Ishaq Khan at that time. And Ghulam Ishaq Khan was a very strong person in the government due to 8th Amendment. What was 8th Amendment? 8th Amendment was a change in the government law constitution by Ziaul Haq, and that provided most of the power to the president in the country, who could dismiss the prime minister, who could dissolve the assembly. And in this manner, President Ghulam Ishaq Khan could, even if once he was saying that he was going to dismiss prime minister's government, it was a serious threat for Benazir. And she had to keep excellent relations with the president to keep him satisfied. And in this manner, she could continue ruling the country. But it was the problem that president had the power to appoint the judges of high courts and Supreme Courts. He could appoint important military personnel, and in this manner, complete hold on judiciary and security and military of the country was in the hands of president. Benazir, as prime minister of the country, thought and wished that it was she must have this right of appointing those persons, because in this manner her effectiveness as prime minister could be increased. She constantly kept wishing this thing, and whenever she discussed it with President Ghulam Ishaq Khan, in the beginning he just ignored, but later on, when there was the time of appointment, he totally refused it, and he, along with that, he threatened Benazir that he could dismiss her government if she continues pressurizing him for this purpose. Though Benazir was expecting that Ghulam Ishaq Khan was going to end Eighth Amendment himself, and he was going to cooperate with her in this manner. But she could see now clearly that Ghulam Ishaq Khan was not ready to give away his authority of appointing the judges and military personnel. But this was the main point which created a serious tension between president and prime minister. Who was more stronger? Definitely president was more stronger. By the constitution, he could dismiss her anytime. So it was another challenge which lingered for some time. Along with that, another issue was going on, that President Ghulam Ishaq Khan was constantly getting very positive response and very negative propaganda from Nawaz Sharif. Negative propaganda against Benazir from Nawaz Sharif. So in this manner, Ghulam Ishaq Khan was slowly and gradually thinking that Benazir was not the right choice for the country. Why Ghulam Ishaq Khan was thinking this thing, another reason was there for that. It was not only Nawaz Sharif who was convincing Ghulam Ishaq Khan that Benazir was a wrong choice, but Ghulam Ishaq Khan was thinking about Benazir's husband Asif Ali Zardari also. Because Asif Ali Zardari was accused that he was making political appointments and he was mismanaging different financial matters of the country, and he was, to some extent, he was alleged for that he was taking bribe for many heads of the institutions, though it was not proved, but some of these things were alleged on him. Even it happened that some evidence is also collected, and Asif Ali Zardari was jailed in Punjab for 2 years. And this was the time of 2 years when Benazir was the prime minister, and she could not go and meet her husband in Punjab. So it was a great astonishing thing for the public that if prime minister was working in the federal government, her husband was arrested in Punjab and she could not go and release him or pass any orders related to him. So many people started believing that Asif Ali Zardari had really done some corruption, and Benazir had no control of her husband, and that is why he was misusing her post and he was doing all these things. Ghulam Ishaq Khan, because of Asif Ali Zardari's these allegations over Asif Ali Zardari and his imprisonment, started becoming more annoyed with Benazir, and he started thinking that Benazir was not directly taking any benefit, though she was not directly taking any undue benefit, but her husband was taking kickbacks because of Benazir's post. So this way, this tension increased, and it was already a challenge for Benazir to cope up with the extended authority of the president. But now, because of allegations on Asif Ali Zardari and his imprisonment, and she had small children. She had to go and meet her husband, and she wanted to see if he was not well or not, while he was, it is said that he was badly tortured in the jail. So this kind of tensions were there with her, which were constantly creating hurdles of hurdles in working as successful prime minister. So these were some personal problems going from her family side and president in main office side. So in this manner, this clash was the constant tension for her. It was a challenge for her. Then and on the other side, if we come out of the offices, then there was in the society, public was thinking about, they had very high hopes from democracy, and they had believed that when Benazir would come, their economic pressures and problems would be removed. There would be economic development in the country with democracy. Many economic development plans will be started. Social and health reforms will be very openly seen in the society. Our hopes were very high because public had seen a very tense time during martial law, and they did not voice for their social rights and their economic rights during that time because they had not the right to speak about anything. But now, when it was Benazir's government, she was in her own personal problems. Employment rate was going high, inflation was going high, it was population was growing rapidly, and there was pressure in the economy of the country. So common men started thinking that Benazir was unable to control the society as prime minister of the country properly. Main problem was that public, if it was dissatisfied, it means the vote bank of the prime minister was dissatisfied, and it means that in the next elections she was not going to get enough good vote from her voters who were previously favoring her, because public could be satisfied when their economic issues are resolved. But if unemployment will remain high, how problems could be resolved when there is no source of income? And the second thing is that on one side, if there is no source of income, and on the other side, inflation means that constantly the value of the money is decreasing and rates of common useful things is going higher. So in this manner, this kind of problem could make the lives of common people very difficult, and they don't think about what big plans are going on, what tensions in the office are going on, what problems are due to her husband with her. And public even started then, this stigma of corruption from Asif Ali Zardari became stronger, and people also started thinking that Benazir was not focusing on the development of public, on any kind of developmental projects or any kind of problem solving for the public, but she herself was involved with the problem of her own husband and her own family problems. Then in the meanwhile, Benazir thought that the main solution of the issue was she was not that much authoritative, and she could not fulfill the promises with public and her offices and her co-workers and other members in the assembly, because she had less power. And Eighth Amendment was constantly uh, hampering her way, creating hurdles in her way, creating problems in her way. So she decided that there must be something related to the end of Eighth Amendment. When she started collaborating with other political workers for increase in the vote bank, Ghulam Ishaq Khan came to know about this. And Ghulam Ishaq Khan suddenly decided, he was already annoyed from her because of these all issues. And main issues related to appointment of judges, related to appointment of military persons. Other main issue, Nawaz Sharif was constantly convincing him that Benazir was the wrong choice and Nawaz Sharif was a better choice. Third main issue, Asif Ali Zardari's allegations on Asif Ali Zardari for corruption and his jail. So these all things convinced Ghulam Ishaq Khan that if Benazir was going to work against Eighth Amendment, she was going to go directly against President Ghulam Ishaq Khan. So he suddenly decided to dismiss the government, and he gave this reason that Benazir was unable to control the situation in the country. And Kashmir issue was also taken and shown to convince the public that she did not do anything about Kashmir issue, even if she had agreements with India. So because public can be easily convinced on two reasons. One, if there is something against Islam, public is quickly convinced about that matter. And secondly, if there is some problem, if Kashmir's name is taken, then Pakistani public becomes emotional and they are quickly convinced. So President Ghulam Ishaq Khan convinced the government that Benazir was not the right choice, as ulamas were against her Islami Jamhuri Ittihad, and problem of Kashmir was not solved. So in this manner, Benazir's government was dismissed by President Ghulam Ishaq Khan in 1990. And not only Benazir was dismissed, but complete assembly was dissolved, and it was decided that new elections would be conducted, which were conducted later on. We are going to discuss about the next governments, which were in the hands of Nawaz Sharif and Punjab government, and plus Pakistan Muslim League Noon group. So that political party became the prominent party, and Nawaz Sharif became the first male prime minister after Ziaul-Haq's and Benazir's era. So he did some developmental works, which we are going to see in next coming classes. Related to this lecture, if you have some queries and problems and how to attempt this material according to the O-level requirements that we are going to discuss in our Zoom class, be ready for your Zoom class and with your questions. And plus I will discuss with you in your class how to utilize this to fulfill the requirements of O-levels. So, and while writing your answers, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum.